I need to get rid of some books.
Hello? Hello? Can anybody hear my voice? Anybody out there? Anybody hears me? Please respond.
I want my shelves to be full of books I love and books I really believe I will love, and that's just not where we're at right now. The problem is that I tend to anthropomorphize objects a little bit. Oh, my hands look so big. Oh. I tend to anthropomorphize objects a little bit. So in the back of my head, there's always this little voice that tells me that if I get rid of a book, especially without having read it first, the book will be sad or will be mad at me. But like I said, the last time I did an unhaul, the very first time I ever unhauled any books at all, I am sick of myself and the way that I do things. So I figured out a way around this last year when I did that first unhaul by employing this double whammy of trying a chapter of each book and then going kind of Marie Kondo method with it by thanking the book if I decided to get rid of it before I released it out into the wild to find a new home with someone who will love them more than I do. And I know that that makes me sound like I'm insane, but it worked for me and my inanimate object anxiety. So that's what we're gonna do again today. Last year when I did this, I focused mostly on general fiction books, but this time I really need to focus on fantasy because my list of unread fantasy books on my shelves has gotten a little bit excessive. So I'm nervous. I still don't like unhauling things. I feel like a dragon hoarding gold. Or maybe I just feel like a hoarder. Maybe that's actually the more apt way to put it. But I have located 35 fantasy books, 17 YA books, and 18 adult books. I felt like hitting the YA books specifically was what was gonna help me get into the process, the mindset of this. I'm 2 years old. I'm not a YA reader anymore. I will every once in a while, but for the most part, I am not picking up YA books. So I think it'll feel good if I'm able to clear out a big chunk of YA fantasy. So hopefully that is what I'm able to do today. Let's roll up our sleeves for this. So the 35 books in front of me, I'm gonna try a chapter from each one. I really hope these books aren't the kind that have like 30-page first chapters. Otherwise I'll be here all night. It's already 3 p.m. So who knows how, it's 3 p.m. and also I'm supposed to be doing a lot of other shit right now. I'm using this video to procrastinate. There are like 9 other very important things that I'm supposed to be doing right now. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to do them. So I'm doing this instead. I know that there's a speed dating your TBR thing going around BookTube right now, but I'm pretty sure that that's just reading the first few lines of a book. And that makes me really nervous. So that's not what we're doing today. Today is, I think, try a chapter is what it's called on the trends. It's what the kids are calling it. I'm gonna start with the YA books. So I'm gonna put, whoop, I'm gonna start with the YA books, so I'm gonna put the adult books to the side. Oh. We're doing great. We're doing so fine. This is okay. Oh, there's also like 2 or 3 sci-fi books in here. It's mostly fantasy, 2 or 3 sci-fi that I wanted to throw in because they were also YA. Let's start with this pile. Oh, you saw the first one. Let's start with this pile. So I'm gonna start with For the Wolf by Hannah Witten. Why, this always makes me so nervous. Grow up. The book is not gonna be mad at you. The book is not gonna be sad. The book is gonna be happy because it's gonna find a home where someone actually loves it, unlike me. This book has been on my shelf. Actually, we can check. How long has this book been on my shelf for? I bought this book on October 20th, 2023. So this book has been on my shelves for almost exactly 2 years. So whatever happens, wherever it goes, it's gonna be happier than it has been with me sitting there unread. That's what I have to tell myself. If you hear snoring in the background, Murphy is sleeping next to me and she's snoring like she needs a CPAP machine. Let it act as like a white noise for you. I've been talking for 11 minutes. Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna start reading. Actually, I changed my mind to make this a little bit faster. I'm gonna do these in stacks of 5. So the first 5 books I will be reading, and then I'll talk you through all 5. For the Wolf by Hannah Witten, Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nyan, Sinner's Isle by Angela Montoya, which I've never seen before in my life, and also doesn't sound like it would be a YA book. Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin, and the cover for this is so ugly. I want to just get rid of it without reading it, but I won't. I'm gonna do my job. I have one duty here. And A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. So those are the 5 that I'm gonna start with. Wish me luck. So getting rid of YA books seems to be a lot easier than adult books so far. Of those 5 books, getting rid of 2, I'm keeping 3. One note I want to make is there seems to be a lot more cultural diversity in YA books than adult books. I know that it's changing a little bit. We're luckily getting more diversity throughout books in general, but YA seems to have been doing it for a while. We have, forget about cultural stuff, this is just a fairy tale retelling. I'm getting rid of For the Wolf, which is about people who live in this kind of magical type forest, and if you are a second born daughter, you are a sacrifice for the wolf, whatever that means. I didn't get to that part. There hasn't been a second born daughter in centuries. Now there is. Redaris. You would think that this was a, what's it called? A Little Red Riding Hood retelling. It's not. According to Goodreads, it's somehow going to become a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Whatever it is, I won't find out because it's going bye-bye. And of the last 4, we have a lot of cultural inclusion. We have French, we have Southeast Asian, I believe Malaysian, based on the author's heritage. We have, I believe, Mexican culture based on the author's heritage. And we have African folklore, which is very exciting to me. There's nothing in the world I love more than absolutely anything relating back to Africa. And if my research is correct, the author is Ghanaian. I fucking love Ghanaian music. But anyway, I am getting rid of the French-inspired book. Serpent and Dove is going bye-bye. I was not super interested. There were some weird things going on. There's basically witches. There's witches, there's like heist things, but it seemed, I don't know how to describe it. I didn't like the writing. There were a few things that struck me as real odd. When I'm thinking about YA heist books, I automatically compare everything to Six of Crows, which I know isn't fair, but I can't really help it. And I didn't really second guess myself because to be able to get rid of that fuck-ass cover is a gift in itself. Thank you for your service. Thank you for living here with me for a little bit. I release you to your new homes where hopefully someone else will love you better than I could. And I am keeping Sinner's Isle, which is about pirates and witches. I'm always down for pirates. Girls of Paper and Fire, which, whoa, this was the last one, or how do I not remember this? Oh, there's a caste system and these girls are part of the lowest caste tier, which is paper, which just means human. You're just fully human. As opposed to the others, there's 3 layers in this caste system. Paper, something, and then moon. And paper, you're fully human. Whatever the middle thing is, it's like you're half human, half demon animal. And then moon caste is you're fully a demon animal. Am I getting that right? Yes. Paper, steel, moon. Moon caste, fully demon with whole animal demon features such as horns, wings, or fur on a humanoid form and complete demon capabilities. So I feel like I should keep that. And A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. There's a marriage of convenience. There's a competition. There's people trying to kill each other, and it's based around African folklore. So I'm absolutely not gonna get rid of that. There's also griots in here. And if you don't know what that is, it's like an oral storytelling tradition from Africa. You might have, if you watched Sinners earlier this year, you might have heard the term griot in the opening scene of that, where they're talking about the poets, the song makers, the storytellers. And I wanted to make sure that I was pronouncing it correctly. And the Google voice that they have for this is the most white ass man I've ever heard listen to this.
Griot.
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 Griot. He sounds like Kenneth the Page Boy from 30 Rock. Griot. Anyway, these are the 3 I'm keeping. These are the 2 I'm getting rid of. Let's figure out what our next 5 are. That took way too long, by the way. That took an hour. So I'm gonna be here all f***ing day. Our next 5, Sky's End by Mark J. Gregson, Obsidian Mirror by Catherine Fisher, Orphan Island by Laurel Snyder, which is actually a middle grade book, it turns out. I did not think I owned any middle grade books. This is shocking to me. Mermaid by Carolyn Turgeon. This book I know for a fact I have owned since like 8th grade. I've owned this for a very long time. Untouched on my shelves. I'm so sorry. And then number 5, This Vicious Grace by Emily Feed. Let's get poppin'. Sorry, hold on, let's mute that. Just like with the last group of 5, I am keeping 3, getting rid of 2, which is a little bit one of these is surprising to me. The 2 that I'm getting rid of. One of them I was very on the fence about, and that's the Obsidian Mirror. I love a time fuckery book. Portal fantasy is my shit. My favorite thing of all time in a book is any kind of portal fantasy, time travel, anything like that. The Obsidian Mirror is YA, but it reads more like middle grade to me. It reads very young. The text is so big. I kind of feel like it maybe is supposed to be middle grade and it's just not labeled as such. Also, I was on the fence about this and I found out it's a 4-book series. So I don't want to go into a 4-book series for something I'm on the fence about. But if anyone watching has very strong opinions on this, I mean like 5-star opinions, please let me know. Otherwise don't. If it's like a 4, 3.75, 4.25, whatever for you, don't let me know. I don't want to know. But if it's a 5, if there's something about this that I know I need to keep this, tell me. The other one I'm getting rid of, which I also almost kept, is Mermaid. And I almost kept this because the writing in the first chapter, it's only like a 4-page first chapter, but the writing is very beautiful. It feels very well done. It's not written so far like a YA book, but according to all, oh, I'm so sorry. The Obsidian Mirror is about a mirror that lets you time travel, and this boy intentionally gets himself kicked out of boarding school to go fight his evil uncle who murdered his father, and I'm assuming he's going to use the time traveling portal mirror at some point. Mermaid is a Little Mermaid retelling, but a lot of the reviews on Goodreads say that it gets very religious. It gets very godly, and that's not me. That's not the kind of person that I am. I am not a godly woman. It's written beautifully though, so if you love The Little Mermaid and you've always thought it needs more God in it, maybe this one is the one for you. The 3 that I'm keeping are This Vicious Grace, which is about a woman who has a gift from the gods which is supposed to magnify a partner's magic, but she's 18 and she's already been widowed thrice. She's had 3 husbands who were supposed to have their magic magnified by her, but instead her touch kills them. It was very well written. Speaking of things that were well written, Obsidian Mirror, YA that feels a little written like it's middle grade. Orphan Island, shocking that I'm keeping this because this was the middle grade. This is a middle grade that I feel is more written up a little bit, and this was very intriguing to me, and I'm kind of shocked. This is about this mystical island where 9 orphans live, and once a year a mysterious boat comes, gives them another orphan, and then the oldest orphan has to get in the boat and then be pulled off into the mist. And they don't know why, they just know that those are the rules. And it was intriguing. So I'm interested. I'm intrigued. The last book that I'm keeping is Sky's End, which it was great. Listen, I do not think that enough people are reading. I mean, I know I've only read the first chapter. I don't think that enough people are reading this book. I think that Sky's End by Mark J. Gregson should have more shooters. And I have a feeling that I'm gonna be one of them by the time I finish it. This is about a 16-year-old who grew up rich, grew up in the upper class. They live in this society where there's the high, the middle, and the low. He grew up in the high. His father died before he could inherit his title, and now his mom is very sick. The whole first chapter is him trying to break into the castle that his uncle now controls in the high. And it's so well written. It's very intriguing. I am very intrigued. So, Sky's End we're absolutely keeping. So far we have 6 keeps and 4 unhauls, which for me is doing well, considering that I can't unhaul to save my life. Next up is a bigger stack because it's the last of the YA books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's gonna be 7 here, but technically I'm only gonna read 6 because one is a sequel to one of the other ones. So I will be reading the first chapters of Wild Blood by Lauren Blackwood, Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Adeyemi, Into the Sunken City by Dinesh Thiru, which is one of the sci-fi ones that I have in here, Under This Forgetful Sky by Lauren Yarrow, which is the other sci-fi one that I have in here, Into the Heartless Wood by Joanna Ruth Meyer, and Song of Silver Flame Like Night by Emily Wen Zhao. So I'll see you on the other side. getting through it. It's 6:30. So I've been doing this for 3.5 hours now and I'm only halfway done. I no longer want to use this video to procrastinate the other shit I have to do. Now I want to use the other shit I have to do to procrastinate doing the rest of this, but I'm not going to. Halfway through. Okay, so that was a pile of 7 books technically. I only read 6 because one of them was a sequel. I did better with this round. Of the books I am keeping, Into the Heartless Wood by Joanna Ruth Meyer. This is a story about sirens, but instead of sirens being mermaid-like and in the sea, there's this witch that lives in the wood and she decides she wants siren daughters, and so she takes some birch trees and she does some witchcraft and she turns birch trees into girls. And so she makes 8 tree siren daughters who lure men to their deaths in the woods. Also keeping Under This Forgetful Sky by Lauren Yarrow. How do I explain this? It's set in Chile and there is a boy named Rumi and a girl named Paz. Rumi is from the upper city called Santiago. So in this city in Chile, there's an upper city called Santiago and a lower city called Paraíso. Rumi is from up top, Paz is from below. Paz is one of the Hello? My light battery just turned off and my camera battery is running out of power at the same time. So I'm gonna do this really fast. Sorry if it just got darker. They are on 2 separate sides of a rebel war and it says it on the back. Turns out Paz is the rebel who killed Rumi's father and I have no idea what's gonna happen from there. I'm also keeping Into the Sunken City by Dinesh Thiru. This is about a future in America where it rains every single minute of every single day, and so a lot of the country has been taken over by water. Everything's flooded. There's a map in the beginning of the book and it shows that like all of California is underwater. Los Angeles is now Lost Angeles? Angeles lost. And there's this girl named Jin whose father was a diver. He died diving and she has to dive into ruined cities and flooded homes in order to make enough money to care for her sister. And that's where we're at so far. And I'm keeping those 3 and now I'm gonna change my batteries. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. My light is not charged, but hopefully we're getting enough brightness in here. The 4 that I'm getting rid of are not the ones I expected I'd be getting rid of. First we have Song of Silver Flame Like Night, which is well written. It seems like it's probably a very good book. There was just something intangible that I didn't vibe with. So she's going. Thank you for your service. I will find you a beautiful new home. Mwah. The next one hurts, and that is, well, the next 2 technically, Children of Blood and Bone, and then its second book, Children of Virtue and Vengeance. I don't want to get rid of this book. That's the thing. I enjoyed the first chapter a lot. I really did. Unfortunately, on Goodreads and from musings I heard earlier this year, I think, the 3rd book in the trilogy, the last book, came out recently and got like universally panned. So apparently people love the first book, love the second book, and then fucking hate the 3rd book. And I'm not looking to go into a new series, a YA trilogy, that's gonna end in like a really disappointing manner. So while I really liked the first chapter of this, I am gonna be getting rid of them for that reason, which makes me really sad. The last one from that stack I'm getting rid of is Wild Blood by Lauren Blackwood. I don't think that this one is very well written, but maybe that's just, I mean, it's not just a me thing, it has low ratings. It's not just a me thing. Apparently it's a general consensus that it's kind of not well written. I'm gonna put it up on Pango if anyone still wants it. It does have a signed nameplate, so if I haven't scared everyone off from that and you want a signed copy of it, it'll be available to you. So I'm halfway through. I have finished all of it. I'm so sorry, these chairs are so noisy, so if you hear me sliding around, just, I don't know, ignore it. I'm halfway through. I have finished all the YA books. So we're moving into adult, and the first 5 up from the adult stacks are Morgan Is My Name by Sophie Keach, The Mere Wife by Maria Devana Headley, How to Stop Time by Matt Haig, The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzon, and Becoming Leda by Michelle Grierson. So let's see how this goes. Take a quick pasta break, but we're back. I got through the first chapters of those 5 books, doing better, keeping 2 getting rid of 3. I'm doing so much better than I thought I would. I'm pretty sure ratio wise I'm doing better than I did last time. The 2 that I'm keeping are How to Stop Time by Matt Haig, which it turns out is about someone who kind of has like the opposite of Benjamin Button syndrome. Or, well, no, I guess, no. Well, no, okay. The opposite of whatever Benjamin Button had would just be like a normal person's life. Okay, it's about this man who has a made-up condition called anageria. There is something in real life called progeria, where your appearance is that of someone way older than you are. So you can be 5 years old, but you look like you're 60. There's aging that goes on with your features, but not your body. Or maybe your body. I don't know enough about it. There's a made-up condition in here called anageria, and this man, for every 15 years that a normal person ages, he only ages 1 year. So if a regular person lives to 100, he'll live until 1500. So for all intents and purposes, he lives forever, but he doesn't live forever. He's not immortal. And that's enough for me. I'm done trying to explain this book. I can't do it anymore. I'm also keeping Morgan Is My Name, which is basically about a woman who winds up becoming a witch because a man and Merlin the sorcerer trick her mother into marriage. It's like a King Arthur type thing. As the era of King Arthur approaches, yeah. So she's a witch in Arthurian times, yada yada yada. I didn't get a really good sense of what that book was from the first sentence. I'm kind of like guessing here. The 3 that I'm getting rid of are 1 that's disappointing and 2 that might be 2 of the most bizarre first chapters of books I've ever read. The disappointing one is The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzon. I am disappointed but not surprised because everything that I've heard from my peers and colleagues is just about how not great this book is. Disappointing because I know that Thea Guanzon is Filipino, and if I haven't mentioned it already, 99% of my family is Filipino, so I wanted to represent, but it wasn't great. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great, and also I don't think I want a fantasy book that's so focused on war, but don't hold me to that. Now, the 2 books that are some of the most bizarre. Becoming Leda by Michelle Grierson opens with a man who is in a shipwreck and is saved by a woman. It sounds like a Little Mermaid retelling. It's not. Saved by a woman in the ocean who he then immediately fucks on the beach. And then the next year he has taken her back to his home in Norway, and she gives birth to a daughter who is blue with webbed feet and webbed hands. And although that sounds like it could be great, it wasn't. It wasn't. And the opening chapter is a pretty thorough birthing scene, or like a scene of the afterbirth part. It just wasn't for me. It just wasn't my particular cup of tea. So Becoming Leda, thank you for your service. Thank you for being here as long as you have been. I'm sorry I didn't take care of you well enough. Be free. The other strangest first chapter is The Mere Wife by Maria Devana Headley. This is apparently a suburban Beowulf retelling, but it opens in the immediate aftermath of 9/11 when this woman signs up for war. She volunteers to go be a soldier, and then she's kidnapped, comes out of the kidnapping pregnant, and then it goes from there. But the whole thing is written in prose. So you know how like Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet is set in modern day Miami? It's not Miami. Whatever. Romeo and Juliet is set in the modern day, but it's still told in Shakespearean English. It's kind of the same as this book. It is a technically modern day story, but told in the same prose as Beowulf. And I wasn't into it. I was not into it at all. So let's keep going. It's been so many hours. I am not getting this video done efficiently whatsoever. Anyway, the next group of 5 books I'm gonna test out first is The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman, which I know is another Arthurian retelling. The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichek, The Witch and the Tsar by Alessia Salnikova-Gilmore, The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker, and the last one by Rachel Housel Hall, which I cannot imagine I will be keeping based on everything I have heard from every single person. Okay, let's go. making our way through. We're pretty close to being done. We have 2 more rounds of this after this. I just kept 3 and got rid of 2. I'm keeping The Silence of the Girls. This is another one I wanted to get rid of just because I think the cover is so ugly with the weird little sparkles in there. It's like a retelling of the Iliad. I thought it was gonna be basic, boring. I'm so sorry, Pat Barker. I was unfamiliar with your game. So she's staying. So she's with us now. I am also keeping The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichek. This, what were you? Oh, this is about a witch who gets captured and is forced to work for Odin, like Odin of Asgard, and winds up meeting Loki and falling in love and having a bunch of unusual children with him. And I am nothing if not a Marvel stan, and that's kind of as much as I know about those gods. So I will be keeping the Loki book. I am also keeping Bright Sword. It started off with a Monty Python quote, and then the first chapter did indeed remind me a little bit of Monty Python. It is an Arthurian retelling, but it's about the oddballs of the Round Table, not the heroes of legend like Lancelot. And anything that reminds me of Monty Python gets to stay in my house. I will be getting rid of The Witch and the Tsar. This was a Baba Yaga retelling, but it seemed a little bit juvenile almost. It just didn't feel very adult-like, and they were using language that was kind of too modern for the setting it should have been in. I just got bad vibes. Let's chalk it up to bad vibes. And finally, we have the last one, which it turns out was my lowest rated book on my whole TBR. It has a Goodreads average rating of 2.83, which is crazy. 2.83 is insane. And I was like, oh, surely it must have gotten review bombed or something like that. No. This is a horrible book. This is a really, really bad book. I'm gonna put it up online, but I advise you to not buy it from me. This is just a genuinely horrible book. I don't know how else to describe it because I'm getting rid of it. I went to look at reviews on Goodreads that have the spoiler tag on it, and they pointed me to different parts in the book with specific lines and dialogue, and oh, holy shit. I am so glad I didn't waste my time reading this book. Thank you for your service. Goodbye forever. Our penultimate round. The 5 we'll be going through are The Surviving Sky by Kritika H. Rao, The City of Stardust by Georgia Summers, which I think is one of my other lowest rated books that I own. Don't get mad at me for this one. A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon, Bloodguard by Cece Robson, and Gods Behaving Badly by Marie Phillips. And I don't know what that book is or where it came from. So I'm going to test these. I don't even know if A Day of Fallen Night is the first one in that series, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, for those ones, I am once again keeping 3 and getting rid of 2. There's a pattern going on. I am getting rid of God's Behaving Badly. I have no idea where this came from or how it ended up in my house, but now it's gonna be leaving my house. This, what the f? How do I even describe what this is? All of the Greek gods live in modern day London, and their powers are running low, I guess. There's too much humor in the book. I'm not a big humor forward book person, but this did remind me a lot of, no, not Guardians of the Galaxy. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I haven't read, but it reminds me of the movie Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So I would say if you enjoy that kind of humor in books, go for it, but I don't. So this one's leaving. The other one I'm getting rid of is The Surviving Sky, which I'm so confused. I only read the first chapter. I have no idea what's happening in this. There is a married couple who live on a floating jungle city, and they each play different roles in the society. The husband is called an architect, which means he can move around plant life with his mind just by thinking about it. And they're like the royalty of this floating jungle city. And the wife is an archaeologist, and they are heading towards a divorce, and they barely talk anymore. And she feels like him and the rest of his architects are being manipulative. I actually don't really know. I don't understand. But they're leaving, so I don't need to understand it. That's fine. Goodbye. Thank you for being here with me for a little bit. I am keeping, surprise, surprise, Bloodguard, which I definitely thought that I was going to be getting rid of because this is one of the Red Tower Books is the publishing company. After Fourth Wing blew up, they published a whole bunch of books, one right after another, and all of them so far have gotten really shit reviews. It's like they jumped full force into this without editing properly or double checking that they were actually publishing good books. But I'm actually keeping 2 of the books. I already got rid of the last one. The last one by Rachel Housel Hall, the one that was the lowest rated of anything on my TBR. I got rid of that one. I'm keeping Bloodguard and the City of Stardust, which I might regret, but you know, we won't know until I try. Bloodguard is basically Gladiator. That's it. That's like the whole thing. This guy Leaf has to win enough gladiator battles to be able to live in proper society. That's it. The City of Stardust, as far as I can tell so far, is maybe like a Pied Piper situation. There is this woman who has been stealing people from this one family for centuries. And it's part of a punishment for a crime that no one can remember anymore. But the best and brightest of the Everly family continues to disappear for hundreds of years. Violet's mother left to try and break the curse, and now Violet needs to find her, yada yada yada. I think that this is gonna be a portals to different worlds situation. We're gonna try it. Let's hope it works out. If not, if both of these wind up sucking like the rest of the Red Tower books, I will gladly unhaul them later. It's just not gonna be happening right now. I also kept, this one was a surprise to me because I kind of thought that I'd wind up getting rid of it. Day of Fallen Night. This chunker. This thing is almost 900 pages long. Also, this is the prequel. So I have to try the first book, The Priory of the Orange Tree. If I'm able to read the first chapter of that somewhere, and then it turns out I hate that, then I'll get rid of this, and that'll be another one down. But for now, I am keeping it. And so now we only have 3 books left, and then we can be done with this. In this pile, I have one more Red Tower book because I don't learn a lesson apparently, but this is The Wren in the Holly Library by K.A. Lind. There's The Sky on Fire by Jen Lyons, and there's Curious Tides by Pascal Lassalle. I've failed the last part of this because I'm keeping all 3 of these books. Curious Tides, which is about a girl named Emery who is going to college to study healing moon magic after a tragedy killed a bunch of her classmates. The Sky on Fire, which I was a little confused about, but it's about a hierarchy of dragons and dragon riders and something about a local warlord. I don't know, but I'm keeping it. And then The Wren in the Holly Library, which was surprising because I thought that I was going to get rid of it. I could not have guessed that I'd be keeping 3 of these Red Tower books and only getting rid of one of them. That's probably going to be something I wind up regretting. This is about New York City, but 13 years ago, it was revealed that monsters actually exist. All kinds of monsters. Vampires, werewolves, sirens, ghosts, like everything from every type of paranormal book. They wound up killing so many people, and then a treaty had to be put in place. A monster treaty. The main character in this, her name is Kierce McKenna. Her last name is McKenna. Even if nothing else had been going for it, I have to keep a book whose main character has McKenna as their last name. I've never in my entire life read a book where a character's name, first or last, is McKenna. So I have to at least try it. And with that, we're done. Let's see what we've gotten done here, shall we? So total, today, I am gonna be unhauling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 books. Not as many as I could have done, but it's more than I had to unhaul this morning. So it's better than nothing. To go over them once more, I have The Children of Blood and Bone and the sequel, The Children of Virtue and Vengeance, Song of Silver Flame Like Night, Mermaid, Obsidian Mirror, Serpent and Dove, For the Wolf, the last one, The Witch and the Tsar, The Hurricane Wars, Becoming Leda, Wild Blood, The Mere Wife, The Surviving Sky, and God's Behaving Badly. And in addition to these, I have, I believe, about 15 more books downstairs that came to me in a very strange way. I was at a thrift store in Washington. I was at this antique store, and there was an old woman, probably 85 years old, in the thrift store with me, and she saw me looking at old books, and she goes, oh, do you like books? And I said, yeah. And she goes, come out to my car with me. And I was like, okay. Sure. Like, I have no survival instincts, so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll come to the car with you. I went to the car with her, which turns out was not in the main parking lot, but was like down the street, around the corner in an alley, because I'm a fucking idiot. And she opens her trunk and she pulls out these 2 big reusable grocery bags that are full of books. And she goes, here, can you take these? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it turns out that she wanted to donate them, but she didn't want to go through the process of donating them. She was old and she was tired and whatever. She was like, can you just take these off my hands for me? So I said, yes. And I took like 20 books from this old lady out of her car in an alleyway. And it turns out I don't want any of them. They're all old books that I don't want. So it turns out I'm gonna be getting rid of every single book that this old woman gave me. So actually total, I will have 30 to 35 books to get rid of. So these will all be on my Pango account. If they're not already up by the time this video goes up, they'll be up soon. Also, I need advice, please. I think I'm gonna have some books that I want to get rid of that I've already read, but I can't physically read a book without underlining with a pen, so any book that I've already read has not like a mass amount of underlining in it, but like some underlining. Like every few pages there's like a sentence underlined. What do I do with those? Does anyone know what I do with those? Because I don't think that I can sell them to used bookstores. I don't think I can donate them to libraries. I don't know if I can sell them resale on Pango or anything. If anyone knows specifically what I can do with books that have very limited underlining. There's no words, I don't annotate, it's just little bits of underlining. If anyone knows what I can do with those books, please let me know. And that's it, and I can f***ing stop this now, and I can go like read the book that I'm actually supposed to be reading. Yeah, that's it, alright? There's nothing else I needed to say. I told my story about the old lady, I talked about Pango. Yeah. Okay, that's it. It's past midnight. I've been doing this for more than 9 hours because I'm slow, because I'm so slow. I'm such a fucking slow reader. Anyway, I need to go. I need to leave. If you can hear me, if you can read the subtitles, thank you so much for being here. Have an incredible day, week, month, year, an incredible October, an incredible autumn. Watch like a really good movie tonight. Do it for me, and then tell me what you watched. If you need recommendations for what movies you should watch for the fall season, I think my last video, I have like 58 movie recommendations for you. Yeah, thank you for being here. I love you. Bye. No. I was gonna put out a follow-up to that, but the album, you know what? Let's not talk about that. I canceled the video so that I wouldn't get in trouble. Who's screaming outside? Oh, children. Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. No. No. Hey!